Hey again, people. So I literally went live for like 4 minutes before I realized, and I was just talking, before I realized that the whole time my AirPods were plugged in. And so I was just talking without them in my ear. So I don't know how much actually got picked up, but I deleted that video so I can start again. So welcome to 30 days of going live on equitable grading in STEM. It's based off of my planner here that was created from chapter 8 in my book, Equity Builds Expertise. The whole point of all of this was to say that today is day 20, which is a final reflection on section number 2, which focused on reducing the influence of external factors on your grades. And we started off days 1 through 10, really just us focusing on that first section on ensuring that our grades are mostly reflective of knowledge and growth. And so that was section 1. And so we did that. And now we just completed section 2. And the quote that I wanted to kick off our reflection day is all about bias, and it's anonymous. And it's from an anonymous author. And that quote states that bias is invisible. Bias is invisible unless we search for it. So bias is invisible unless we search for it. And that's one of the quotes at the top of the page. And you can see there's a lot here to reflect on for what we've done over the past 10 days. So I'm going to jump right in. I talked a little bit about the book and the planner before, but let's just jump right in. I know people, it's Saturday and you want to get on with your Saturday. I just came back from a great jazz festival. And so I'm kind of ready to do some work. And I was excited to pop on to really do this final reflection with you. So we spent the last 10 days rethinking policies and policies like homework, late work, zeros, whether you were going to allow retakes, and how you were going to make shifts to your culture to ensure that all students have opportunities to demonstrate their mastery of content. And now it's time to pause and reflect. So, equity isn't about perfection, and I've said this before. It's about small, intentional shifts that actually change student trajectories, right? And so, the idea is for you to reflect on which of the changes that we've talked about within the past, I would say, even going further back than just the past 9 days or 10 days in this section, but which of those changes from this section align most with equity in your classroom? And then why? That's what you want to reflect on. Why? You should use this day to summarize the top 2 to 3 shifts that you plan to implement moving forward and highlight how you are going to do that, right? So, for example, you might want to remove participation grades if that's possible. Or you might want to replace some of the late policies with recovery opportunities. So rather than having a late policy where a student receives a 0 or lower grade, before you do that, give them an opportunity to recover, to demonstrate mastery, right? And then add a retake policy. That may be something that you want to do. Those are changes that will better reflect student mastery and create just a more hopeful pathway for success for students. And that's something that we really want. One of the things you can also do is create a reflection summary page, right? Where you list three sort of policy shifts and then the next step, right? And the date that you're going to revisit each of those. So even if all you're doing is creating the plan, that's a step in the right direction, right? Um, so to close, and so that you can get started on the rest of your Saturday, I would love for you to just simply reflect on how your policies shape student experiences. What is the impact of that? And please acknowledge that each adjustment is nothing more than a step forward toward fairness, more accuracy when it comes to what your grades are measuring, and actual hope for students. Giving students an opportunity, even if they don't assess well or because of circumstances, homework might be late or something may be turned in incomplete. It gives you an opportunity to at least give them a chance, right? To demonstrate knowledge and true understanding. Small shifts today can set the stage for more equitable learning tomorrow. And as I always close, every grade tells a story. So let's make sure that we're making it one worth telling. All right. Tomorrow begins day 21, which is us entering into our last section where your grades will reinforce self-efficacy. So we'll start to talk about how we, through our grades, get students to believe that they are capable of succeeding in our content area. All right, so with that, have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your Saturday and rest of your weekend. All right, take care.